Hi, everybody, and welcome to Bible study this week. It's great to be with all of you. This week, we are getting ourselves ready to go into Holy Week. And so we're going to be reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 12, verses 12 to 16. And this is the story of Jesus entering into Jerusalem. Riding on a donkey, and of course the palms laid down. And this is the passage that often gets read on Sunday at worship as a way of recognizing Palm Sunday and the significance of that. So I thought what we'll start with reading the text today, and then we'll spend some time talking about the significance of Palm Sunday and what this text is saying to us, especially during everything that we have going on in our lives. So this is John chapter 12, verses 12 to 16. 5 days before the Passover, the great crowd that had come to the festival heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem. So they took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel." Jesus found a young donkey and sat on it, as it is written, "Do not be afraid, daughter of Zion. Look, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt." His disciples did not understand these things at first, but when Jesus was glorified, then they remembered that these things had been written of him and had been done to him. So if you're like me, maybe you're wondering, why do we start Holy Week with this reading? It seems sort of bizarre that we start in this celebration, this poking fun that Jesus is doing in the text, riding in on a donkey. Why is that significant for us? And as I was kind of reflecting on that this week and in prayer and conversation with God, one of my favorite theologians, Debbie Thomas, had written some stuff about Holy Week and about Palm Sunday that I wanted to share with you. So this is from Debbie Thomas. She says, "This week we begin a journey that holds within it the fullness of the human story, the highs, the lows, the hopes, the fears. In the span of 7 days, we do it all. We praise, process, break bread, wash feet, make promises, break promises, deny, betray, condemn, abandon, grieve, despair, disbelieve, and celebrate. This week we see the light at the end of the tunnel, lose our vision of it entirely in the grimness of death, and then find it again, drenched in glory." You see, I kind of look at Holy Week sort of like a sandwich, right? And each slice of bread um, is is our hope, is our sense of hope. And so in the beginning of Holy Week, we get a message of hope in Palm Sunday. And then as we move through the week into Maundy, Thursday, and Good Friday, um, is the sense where the reality of Christ's death on the cross becomes real for us. And that's sort of the meat of the sandwich. And at the end of Holy Week, of course, we celebrate Easter, and that's the last piece of bread, the other piece of bread, where again we're reminded of the hope of resurrection. And so as we get this opportunity to enter into Holy Week, it's an opportunity, I think, for us to recognize and to start with a sense of hope and allow that hope to draw us into the reality of the sacrifice that God made on our behalf, and then to celebrate the result of that reality by being reminded of the resurrection and what it means for us today. And so, as we look specifically at this text, I want to talk a little bit about the word Hosanna. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably grown up in the church. And as we get to Palm Sunday, everybody gathers at the church and we read this passage from John or maybe the one from Mark. And everybody waves their palms and you process down the aisle and everybody is shouting Hosanna, Hosanna. Um, and it's this really celebratory time. And often I think when we are yelling that word, what we sort of associate with that word is the idea of saying to Jesus, like, this is Jesus' victory. Jesus, you're amazing. We love you. All of that kind of stuff. But if you look at the original Hebrew of that word, it actually is something that's a little bit less cheery. And really, what we're shouting out when we shout out the word Hosanna is we're asking God to save us. It means save us or save now. And and so that's something to think about this Holy Week as we get ready to enter into Holy Week. This idea of how God saves us and to be reminded of that. So I want to invite you, as we have been doing in our Lenten journeys this Lent, to continue to reflect on where you've seen God in your life and how you've seen God active in your life, and to take some time and particularly reflect on this idea of God's saving grace, this gift that God has given each and every single one of us. And I ask you to just to reflect on that. How have you experienced the saving grace of God in your life in the past? How are you experiencing it right now? Go ahead and reflect on that. And feel free to get back to me and share with me what you have to say about that. And we'll get back together again next week for some more Bible study and getting ourselves ready for Easter and spend some time reflecting on that. But I want to invite you to reflect on this idea of God's saving grace and where you've experienced that in your life. I'll invite you to go ahead and comment on Facebook or send me an email, however you'd like to do that, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks so much for joining me this week, and I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much.